Women's rights are not naturally self-enforcing. The only rights that women have and have ever had are rights that are given to them courtesy of the kindness, the benevolence and generosity of men. Now, the proof of that is a desert island situation. You take a man and a woman, you stick them on a desert island, and they have no chance of ever getting off. They have bountiful supplies to keep them for the rest of their lives. It's not in their interests to be at each other's throats, the way that women's magazines and the press and TV have been persuading women for decades now to just hate men's guts. It's not in their interest. Men and women are supposed to be codependent. That's how we raise children, but that's not how feminazis and the media and politicians see it anymore. Anyway, the man can do to that woman on the desert island whatever he wants. I don't like to have to say it, but he can beat her, he can rape her, he can kill her, he can torture her, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But he's not going to. It's not in his interest to displease her, and vice versa. Now, that works upwards in multiples thereof, and people should be able to see this automatically. But I was thinking about Gordon Ramsay's program Hell's Kitchen. He has 12 contestants at the beginning, and it's always the same: 6 men, 6 women, and they are set in opposition against each other. That is not the way things should be. But let's take that scenario and convert it to a lifeboat. You're in a lifeboat, there's been a shipwreck, you're the only survivors, you're in a lifeboat, 6 men, 6 women, and I'm going to provide 6 oars of this lifeboat. You're a mile away from your desert island, rough stormy seas, you've got to row there. So you have 6 men, 6 oars. Now, who's going to be manning the oars? And let's say the 6 women in the boat were contaminated to various degrees with the disease of feminism, for which there is no known current cure. Are they going to complain about the men taking charge? Are they fuck? They're going to be cheerleading the guys on to take them, the women, to safety. So the guys get to shore, they pull the boat up as far as they can, there are still little waves lapping around it, and the women then, they're going to expect the men to carry them onto the shore, because they don't want to get their Manola Blahniks and their Jimmy Choos spoiled by the salt water. And so now you're on land. Now I'm going to assume that these lifeboats come with food supplies and water supplies in case you're stranded at sea for days on end. So you've already got food and water. The guys get that on land. And there isn't going to be any squabbling, because as it's my sort of little fancy here, I'm going to put myself in charge. And straight away, I'm going to say to the women, the men are going to have more of the food and more of the water, because men are bigger and require more food and require more water. And it's the men who are going to have to do the hard work in order to build the tree hut, the communal tree hut, or whatever. Anyway, no woman's going to complain at all. And Bear Grylls once said on one of his programs that if he had one implement, one tool, and he was stuck on a desert island, he would pick a machete. So I'm going to have 12 machetes on board. And the women, let's say one of the women started complaining about this unequal distribution of the food and the water. Now this is what is going to sort out the men from the manginas. And let's say there's a mangina there, and he pipes up because he wants favoritism with the women. He wants to white knight it, and he comes out with some shit like, well, I have so much respect for women, and I think you're being really unequal, and this is terrible. I think we should have equality at all times. Well, I'm glad he just piped up, because now he can be made an example of. So you've got the 12 machetes on the boat. I'm going to get 6 of them, and I'm going to say to the guys, right, no ladies first shit on this island. Okay, the men get their machetes first. And I'm going to leave the mangina till last. Distribute the machetes, and when I get to the mangina, I'm going to say, hey, look at that behind you. And the second his head's turned, I'll lop it off like I was fucking ISIS. And the fucking women will scream, and I'll say, right, forget the fucking food supplies, all right? See that mangina there? That's your fucking dinner now. Now gut it. Not there's going to be much guts in him. He's a mangina, so he's a gutless wimp anyway. And the guys are going to get a fire going, because despite the fact that these 6 women between them have probably jerked off fucking hundreds of men, they still don't have the arm muscle and the hand power to rub 2 sticks together and get a fire going. So The men are going to make the fire, and the women, with their machetes, they can go back. No, now I think of it, I've never seen a female butcher. I don't think they'd be powerful enough to hack through the corpse's miserable limbs. The men would have to do that. So what the fuck are the women going to do? They're not going to lounge around, not on my fucking island. They're going to have to go and look for some shellfish or something like that. And so we all eat, and we all sleep on the beach that night. It's not that cold. So next morning, you notice that there are coconuts up in the palm trees, 60 foot up. Now, bloody coconuts have all sorts of goodness in them. But are the women capable of shutting up a 60-foot palm tree? Again, it's the men who are going to have to do it. So they're going to bash the coconuts down, get them down, and then the women can the women open the coconut? What if there were no machetes? You can open the coconut with a stone, but a woman can't because she isn't powerful enough. So every time the women are going to always rely on the fucking men. You then have to hack your way through the undergrowth close to the beach to find yourself a decent sort of place that's a clearing, should we say, and then start to build. Initially, let's say, build a communal shelter. Now, who's going to hack the way through all the undergrowth? And it's going to be the men, again, because the men have the power. And incidentally, palm trees with coconuts on, they can be used to make houses, wooden houses. It's always going to be men's hard work. What currency do these women have between them, given that the men are perfectly capable of surviving on their own, but the women aren't? The only currency they have is pussy. That's all. And it just occurred to me that for a toilet, you're not going to just build a cesspit. You use the sea for the toilet. That's fine. So no more toilet seat fucking syndrome. No more of this total bullshit about the toilet seat isn't in a position that's convenient for her fucking arsehole. This has been brainwashed into women. And another thought just occurred to me. If you tuck the modern woman and the whining and bitching that she does, she's got all mod cons in her house, everything, roads and bridges and just everything you can think of invented and built by men, all taken for granted by women, and they bitch about a toilet seat. And if you took one of their ancestors, some Stone Age creature, a woman with a club, and you stuck her in the modern house with the man and the woman, the bitchy nagging wife, the henpecked fucking husband, and the wife showed the cave woman around the house, the cave woman would be amazed. She'd be extolling the virtues of men, and the woman would be bitching and making stupid childish comments as usual, and the cave woman would think, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? This ungrateful bitch. And indeed, women, what the fuck is wrong with you? And the cave woman she'd assess the situation so quickly, and she'd just think, fuck it, this guy needs help. And she'd just club that fucking modern bitch over the head like clubbing a fucking seal. And even though I'm not into violence, I quite like the sound of that. Anyway, there's going to be a part 2 to this. I'm going to tell you what's going to carry on this desert island. And ladies, it ain't looking too good for you.